What if Anakin was forgiven by the Jedi Council after Order 66? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The Jedi Temple burns. Smoke rises from its ancient spires as the night sky over Coruscant glows orange with flame. Inside the council chambers, Anakin Skywalker kneels among the bodies of fallen Jedi, his lightsaber deactivated and lying beside him. His hands tremble, covered in ash and blood. The yellow glow has faded from his eyes, replaced by the blue they once were. But those eyes are hollow now, staring at nothing, as the weight of what he's done crashes down upon him like a collapsing building. The bodies surround him in a grotesque circle. Jedi he trained with, Jedi he laughed with, in the temple halls. Younglings who looked up to him with admiration just hours ago. He can still hear their screams echoing in his mind, still see the confusion and betrayal in their eyes as his lightsaber cut them down. One small Rhodian boy, no more than 7 years old, had asked him why. Why, Master Skywalker? Why are you doing this? Anakin hadn't answered. He'd simply struck, his mind clouded by Palpatine's lies and his own fear. What have I done? The words escape his lips in a broken whisper, over and over, like a prayer that has no answer. Around him, the temple is silent, except for the crackling of flames and the distant sounds of clone troopers securing the building. He can feel them, the lives he extinguished, not just their deaths, but their final moments, their fear, their pain, their hope that he would stop, that this was somehow a mistake. Master Windu, who saw through Palpatine's lies but fell because Anakin betrayed him at the critical moment. The Jedi Master's final look of disappointment burns worse than any lightsaber wound. All of it, all of them, because he believed a Sith Lord's promises. Because he was too afraid to lose Padme, too arrogant to trust in the Force, too weak to resist the dark side's seductive whispers. The visions of her dying in childbirth had seemed so real, so inevitable. Palpatine had shown him a path to save her, and in his desperation, Anakin had taken it without question. But now, sitting among the corpses of innocence, he sees the truth. Palpatine never intended to teach him to save anyone. It was all manipulation, all lies designed to turn him into a weapon. Hours pass. Anakin doesn't move. He can't. Where would he go? Palpatine expects him at the Imperial Palace, waiting to bestow new orders on his apprentice. The thought of facing that monster, of bowing before him again and calling him master, makes Anakin's stomach turn. But what else is there? He's destroyed the Jedi. He's murdered children. He's become the very thing he swore to fight against. There's no redemption for someone who's fallen this far. The dark side still whispers to him, trying to pull him back, trying to convince him that he's too far gone to turn back now. But another voice speaks louder. Padme's voice, from a memory years ago. You're a good person, Ani. Don't ever forget that. The words cut through the darkness like a blade. Is he still a good person? Can someone who's done what he's done ever claim to be good again? He doesn't know. But he knows he can't continue down this path. He can't become Palpatine's servant, can't help the Sith Lord build his empire on the graves of the Jedi. The sound of a ship landing outside breaks through his paralysis. Footsteps echo through the temple halls, cautious and deliberate. 2 sets of footsteps, Anakin's hand moves instinctively to his lightsaber, muscle memory from years of training. But he stops himself. He doesn't deserve to defend himself. If they've come to kill him, perhaps that's justice. Perhaps that's what should happen. Better to die here, among those he murdered, than to live with this guilt. The doors to the council chamber slide open with a hydraulic hiss. Two figures enter through the smoke: Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Yoda. Anakin's heart breaks all over again. Of all the Jedi who could have found him, it had to be them. His former master and the Grand Master of the Order. Two people he respected more than almost anyone. Two people he's now betrayed completely. Obi-Wan's face is a mask of rage and grief, but underneath, Anakin can see the pain. Raw, unbearable pain. His former master had trusted him, trained him, loved him like a brother, and Anakin had thrown it all away. Obi-Wan's lightsaber ignites instantly, the blue blade humming in the smoke-filled air, casting dancing shadows across the chamber walls. He saw the security recordings. He knows what Anakin did. Every strike, every kill, every moment of darkness. Anakin. Obi-Wan's voice cracks on the name, breaking like glass. How could you? The younglings, Master Windu, Master Plo, Master Ki-Adi-Mundi, all of them. He advances, his blade steady despite the tremor in his voice. I trained you. I trusted you. I loved you like a brother, Anakin. And you murdered our family? Anakin doesn't move to defend himself. He remains kneeling, his head bowed, accepting whatever comes. I know. His voice is barely audible. I know what I've done. There's no excuse, no justification. I don't ask for mercy, Obi-Wan. Do what must be done. But Yoda raises a gnarled hand, stopping Obi-Wan mid-stride. Wait. We must. Something different here. There is. The ancient Jedi Master's eyes narrow as he studies Anakin through the Force, seeing beyond the surface. He feels no darkness radiating from him now, no corruption twisting his presence. Only crushing guilt and despair, so profound it threatens to swallow him whole. Yoda hobbles forward, his gimmer stick tapping against the blood-stained floor. Look at me, young Skywalker. Anakin raises his head slowly, and Yoda sees the tears streaming down his face. They've cut clear tracks through the ash and soot covering his skin. These aren't the tears of someone trying to manipulate or deceive. These are the tears of someone whose soul has been shattered by their own actions. Master Yoda, I can't undo what I've done. I saw them fall. I felt them die. Every single one. Their fear, their confusion, their hope that I would stop, and I didn't. I kept going because I thought I was saving Padme. Because Palpatine promised me he could teach me to prevent her death. Obi-Wan's grip tightens on his lightsaber. Lies. You're trying to manipulate us just like you manipulated everyone else. The Council trusted you. The Order trusted you. I trusted you. And this is how you repay that trust. By slaughtering innocents? I should strike you down right now and be done with it. No. Anakin's voice gains strength, despite the tears. I'm not asking for mercy. I'm not asking to be spared. But before you kill me, you need to know the truth. You need to know what's happening. Palpatine is Darth Sidious. He's the Sith Lord we've been searching for throughout the entire war. He orchestrated everything: the invasion of Naboo, the Clone Wars, the Separatist movement. All of it was his design to destroy the Jedi and seize control of the Republic. "We suspected as much," Obi-Wan says bitterly. "But we couldn't prove it until it was too late. It's worse than you know." Anakin forces himself to continue, to tell them everything, even though each word feels like swallowing glass. He's in the Imperial Palace now, consolidating his power. He's declared himself Emperor. The clone army is under his complete control through inhibitor chips implanted in their brains. Order 66 wasn't a choice for them. They were programmed to kill Jedi on his command. And there are more commands, more protocols designed to eliminate anyone who threatens his rule. Yoda and Obi-Wan exchange glances. The implications are staggering. Know this, we did not. The inhibitor chips explain the clones' sudden betrayal. How many Jedi survived Order 66? Yoda reaches out through the Force, feeling for the lights of his fellow Jedi scattered across the galaxy. So few, a handful, perhaps fewer than 20, across the entire galaxy. But if Palpatine lives, none of them will be safe. The Sith Lord's power is absolute now. The Republic is dead, replaced by an empire that will hunt down every remaining Jedi until none are left. Yoda closes his eyes, reaching deep into the Force. He's done this countless times before, seeking guidance in moments of crisis. But this time feels different. The Force shows him paths branching out like the roots of an ancient tree. One path shows Anakin's execution, swift justice for his crimes. It would be deserved. It would be righteous. But that path leads to darkness. Palpatine's victory remains unchallenged. The Empire rises without opposition. Luke and Leia grow up never knowing their father except as a monster. A cautionary tale about the dangers of the dark side. Another path shows something different, difficult, painful, controversial, but possible. Anakin lives. He helps them fight Palpatine. He works to undo the damage he's caused. The path is fraught with danger, with the possibility that he could fall again, that this could all be another manipulation. But it also shows hope, a chance to stop the Sith, a chance for the Jedi to rebuild, a chance for redemption, not just for Anakin, but for the Order itself, which failed to see the darkness growing in their midst. Kill him now, and lose everything we will. Yoda opens his eyes and looks at Obi-Wan. A chance we must give him, not for his sake, but for the galaxy's. Too few Jedi remain. Too much knowledge Anakin possesses about Palpatine's plans. Need him. We do. As much as it pains me to admit. Obi-Wan looks at his former apprentice with disgust and heartbreak warring on his face. You ask me to forgive this? To forgive the murder of children? To forgive the betrayal of everything we stand for? He gestures at the bodies surrounding them. These were our brothers and sisters, Master Yoda. These younglings had their whole lives ahead of them, and he cut them down like they were nothing. Ask for forgiveness. I do not. Yoda's voice is firm. Ask for a weapon to use against the Sith. I do. Judge Anakin. We will. But later. First, stop Palpatine. We must. Or everything the Jedi stood for dies with us. I don't ask for your forgiveness. Anakin's voice is steady now, strengthened by purpose. I'll never forgive myself. Every day for the rest of my life, I'll see their faces. I'll hear their screams. I'll feel their deaths in the Force. That's my burden to carry. But if you're going to kill me, do it after we stop Palpatine. Use me. Let me help you end this. Then you can execute me. I'll face whatever judgment you demand. I'll accept any punishment without protest. But please, don't let him win. Don't let my fall be for nothing. The silence stretches between them, heavy with tension and grief. The smoke continues to swirl through the chamber. The bodies continue to lie still. The temple continues to burn. Finally, Obi-Wan deactivates his lightsaber with a sharp hiss. The sound seems to echo through the chamber like a pronouncement. If you're lying, if this is another manipulation, if there's even a hint of darkness left in you, I will end you myself, Anakin. And I won't hesitate this time. I won't let sentiment stay my hand. I know. Anakin meets his former master's eyes. I know, and I deserve nothing less. They leave the burning temple behind. Anakin walking between them like a prisoner being escorted to execution. In Obi-Wan's ship, they make contact with the few surviving Jedi. Each conversation is painful. Each survivor has lost friends, students, masters. Each one has barely escaped with their lives, hunted by the very soldiers they fought beside for years. Yoda calls an emergency council meeting. Though there's barely a council left to convene, they gather in a hidden location on Coruscant, a safe house that Bail Organa secured for them in the lower levels of the city. The room is small and cramped, nothing like the grand council chambers they once occupied. Along with Yoda and Obi-Wan, there's Ki-Adi-Mundi, who survived an assassination attempt on Megiddo by sensing the clones' intentions seconds before they opened fire. Shaak Ti, who was off-world during Order 66, investigating rumors of an unauthorized cloning operation. Oppo Rancisis, who managed to escape from Salakami by using his serpentine form to hide in the swamps. Coleman Kachaj, who survived purely by luck, having been in deep meditation when the order came through and sensing the danger. A few others, knights and masters who happened to be in the right place at the right time. Less than a dozen, where once there were thousands. When Anakin enters the room, escorted by Yoda and Obi-Wan, several Jedi ignite their lightsabers immediately. Shaak Ti's face contorts with rage, her normally composed demeanor shattered. You dare bring him here? He murdered our brothers and sisters. He killed younglings, children who trusted him. Her lightsaber hums with barely controlled fury. I can still feel them dying. I was connected to the temple through meditation when it happened. I felt every death, every moment of fear and betrayal. Ki-Adi-Mundi steps forward, his elongated head tilted in disbelief. This is an outrage. He should be tried and executed, not brought before us like some honored guest. How many did you kill, Skywalker? 50? 100? How many Jedi fell because you betrayed us to that Sith monster? Anakin doesn't defend himself. He stands in the center of the room, surrounded by the survivors of his massacre, and takes their anger. He deserves it. He deserves worse. All I can tell you is the number I remember. 37 Jedi at the temple. I don't know how many the clones killed elsewhere because of my actions, but 37 died by my hand. I remember each of their faces. I remember each of their names. Silence falls over the room. The number is staggering. 37 Jedi. Some of the finest warriors and wisest teachers in the Order. Gone because one man fell to the dark side. Oppo Rancisis coils his serpentine body, ready to strike. Then you remember why you deserve to die. Why we should execute you here and now. Sit. Everyone will. Yoda's voice carries authority that cuts through the anger and grief. A decision we must make. Judge Anakin Skywalker. We will. But first, hear what he knows. We must. Information about the Sith he possesses. Information about the Empire's plans. Information that could save the Jedi who remain and bring down Palpatine. Listen first, then judge. The Jedi reluctantly lower their weapons, but the hostility in the room is palpable. Anakin stands in the center of the room, feeling their hatred like physical blows. He begins to speak, telling them everything. He starts at the beginning, with Palpatine's manipulation from the very first day they met. How the then senator took an interest in a young slave boy. How he offered encouragement and praise when the council showed only doubt and suspicion. How, over the years, Palpatine became a father figure, someone Anakin could confide in. When the Jedi seemed cold and distant, he tells them about the visions, how they started months ago, dreams of Padme dying in childbirth. At first, they were vague, just feelings of dread, but they grew more specific, more vivid. He saw her struggling to breathe, saw her calling his name, saw her dying despite the best medical care available. The visions consumed him, drove him to desperation. And Palpatine was there, offering a solution. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. He promised me he could teach me to prevent death itself. You believed him? Coleman Kaj shakes his head in disbelief. You, who trained as a Jedi for over a decade, believed a politician could teach you to prevent death. The arrogance is stunning. Anakin's jaw clenches. Yes, I believed him, because I was desperate, because I couldn't lose Padme, because the Jedi Order taught me to suppress my emotions, to let go of attachments, but they never taught me how to deal with fear. They just told me not to be afraid, as if it were that simple. Palpatine offered me something different. He said I could have both power and love, that I didn't have to choose, and I was fool enough to believe him. He continues, describing how Palpatine revealed himself as Darth Sidious, how Mace Windu confronted the Sith Lord, how Anakin arrived just as Windu was about to strike the killing blow, and how he made the worst decision of his life. I stopped Master Windu. I cut off his hand. I told myself I needed Palpatine alive to save Padme, that the Jedi were trying to take over the Republic, that I was doing the right thing. But I was lying to myself. I was choosing power over principle, darkness over light. And when Palpatine killed Master Windu, when he threw him from the window, I knew I'd crossed a line I could never uncross. Then why continue? Shak Ti's voice is sharp. If you knew you'd made the wrong choice, why go to the temple? Why murder younglings? Because I was already damned. Anakin's voice breaks. Because Palpatine told me that only through the dark side could I save Padme? And I'd already committed to that path. Because I thought, if I turned back, if I betrayed him, he'd kill her out of spite. Because I was weak and afraid, and the dark side fed on that fear, amplifying it until I couldn't think straight. I'm not making excuses. There are no excuses for what I did. I'm just telling you what I was thinking, what I was feeling. The darkness whispered that it was too late to turn back, that I had to keep going, that this was the only way to save her. And now, Ki-Adi-Mundi studies him carefully. Now that you've had time to think clearly, do you still believe that? Now, I see the truth. Anakin meets his gaze. Palpatine was never going to teach me to save anyone. He was using me. The visions might have been real, might have been genuine glimpses of a possible future, but he manipulated me into believing he was the only solution. And in trying to prevent Padme's death, I've probably ensured it. Because when she learns what I've done, it will break her heart. The tragedy is that the very fear that drove me to darkness will likely cause the exact outcome I was trying to prevent. Yoda nods slowly. See this now? You do. Good. A first step toward the light, it is. But words mean nothing. Actions matter. Help us destroy Palpatine. You will. Give us information. You must. Anakin tells them everything he knows. The inhibitor chips in the clones can be deactivated with a specific frequency that he learned from Palpatine. He provides the technical specifications, the activation codes, everything needed to free the clones from their programming. He describes the Emperor's location and security details in the Imperial Palace, the number of clone troopers stationed there, the layout of the throne room, the secret passages Palpatine uses to move unseen through the building. He reveals the names of other dark side users Palpatine has been gathering. The Inquisitorius, a group of former Jedi who turned to the dark side or were captured and broken, now serving the Empire as Jedi hunters. He provides their names, their last known locations, their abilities. Grand Inquisitor, second sister, fifth brother, seventh sister, eighth brother, 9 of them in total. Each one a threat to the surviving Jedi. He tells them about the Empire's strategic plans. Project Warmantle, an initiative to phase out clone troopers in favor of recruited soldiers who are easier to control. The Imperial Security Bureau, a new organization designed to root out dissent and crush any rebellion before it can form. The seizure of Jedi artifacts and holocrons, which Palpatine plans to use to unlock ancient Sith secrets. The construction of massive weapons facilities on Geonosis and other worlds, producing machines of war at a scale never before seen. When he finishes, the room is silent, except for the hum of ventilation systems. The information is overwhelming. The scope of Palpatine's plans is terrifying, but it's also exactly what the Jedi need. With this knowledge, they have a chance. Without it, they would be fighting blind against an enemy who has already won. Finally, Ki-Adi-Mundi speaks. The information is valuable, essential even, but that doesn't absolve you of your crimes, Skywalker. We must still determine what to do with you. Some in this room will call for your execution, and they would be justified. Others may advocate for imprisonment. Still, others might suggest using you as a weapon against the Empire until you're no longer useful. We must vote. The debate that follows is heated and painful. Shakti argues passionately for execution. Justice demands it. The families of those he murdered demand it. The Force itself demands it. How can we claim to stand for peace and justice if we allow a child murderer to walk free? It sets a precedent we cannot afford. If Anakin Skywalker can be forgiven for genocide, then what crime is unforgivable? Coleman Kakaj takes a different position. I don't advocate for forgiveness, but I advocate for pragmatism. We are broken, we are few, and we face an enemy with unlimited resources. If we execute Anakin, we lose his knowledge of Palpatine, his understanding of the dark side, his combat abilities. Can we afford that loss? Can we afford to let our principles doom the galaxy? Oppo Rancisis offers a compromise. Use him. Treat him as a weapon, not a Jedi. He fights for us until Palpatine is defeated, under constant guard and supervision. After the war, we execute him. He gets to atone for his crimes by fighting the Empire, and we get his knowledge and skills. Everyone gets what they need, but Obi-Wan surprises them all by speaking against execution. I hate what Anakin has done. I hate that I'm even considering this. He was my brother, my friend, my student, and he betrayed all of that. He murdered our family. But Master Yoda is right. We failed him. Not in a way that excuses his crimes, but in a way that should make us question our methods. We taught him to suppress emotion rather than manage it. We taught him detachment rather than healthy attachment. We saw his fear and his anger. And instead of helping him work through those feelings, we told him they were forbidden. We turned him away rather than reaching out. You're defending him? Shakti's voice rises in disbelief. After what he did, you're making excuses for him? No, I'm not defending him. I'm condemning us. Obi-Wan's voice is firm. The Jedi Order failed. We became so rigid, so sure of ourselves, that we couldn't see the darkness growing right in front of us. Anakin fell because he was weak, but he fell further because we didn't catch him. And if we continue the same way, if we don't learn from this catastrophe, then we doom ourselves to repeat it. I'm not saying we forgive him. I'm saying we use this tragedy to rebuild something better. Yoda nods slowly, his ears drooping with sadness. Speak wisdom, Obi-Wan does. Failed, we have. All of us. Too rigid, the Jedi became. Too sure of our righteousness. Saw the warning signs, we did. Ignored them, we did. Young Skywalker's fall. A symptom of our blindness, it was. If learn from this, we wish. If rebuild, we must. Then change, we must. Master Yoda, surely you're not suggesting we share the blame for genocide. Ki Adimundi's voice is sharp with disbelief. Anakin Skywalker chose to murder innocents. That choice was his alone. Blame? No. Responsibility? Yes. Yoda taps his gimmer stick against the floor. Stop this from happening. We could have. See his fear and pain? We did. Help him? We did not. Tell him to simply let go? We did. But teach him how? We did not. Guide him through his emotions? We did not. Make time for him? We did not. Too busy with the war, we were. Too focused on politics and military strategy. Forgot what it meant to be Jedi. We did. So what do you propose? Oppo Rancisis asks. We forgive him and welcome him back to the Order with open arms? No, never that. Yoda's voice is firm. Forgiveness not ours to give. The dead cannot forgive him. The families of the dead cannot forgive him. But a chance to make amends we can give. A chance to fight the darkness he helped create. A chance to save what remains. Judge him by his next actions we must. If truly returned to the light, he has. Then prove it, he will. If darkness still lurks within him, reveal itself, it will. The vote is close and contentious. 4 Jedi vote for immediate execution. 3 vote to give Anakin a chance under strict conditions. 2 abstain, unable to make the decision. Yoda and Obi-Wan both abstain as well, knowing their votes would be too influential, that this decision must come from the Council as a whole. In the end, with no clear majority, they decide on a compromise. Strict conditions that everyone can agree on. Anakin must help them stop Palpatine and dismantle the Empire's infrastructure. He must submit to constant monitoring through the Force by assigned Jedi Guardians. He can never fully return to the Jedi Order as a member in good standing. He must wear a Force-suppressing collar that can be activated remotely if he shows any signs of darkness. After the war is over, he will face a full trial for his crimes before the Senate and the reformed Jedi Council. If he betrays them even once, if he touches the dark side even in the slightest, he will be executed without hesitation. And most painfully, he will have no contact with Padme or their unborn child until after the trial. To prevent him from using them as leverage or motivation to betray the Jedi again, Anakin accepts every condition without argument. He expected execution. This is more mercy than he deserves. But there's something else he must do first. Something he cannot leave unresolved. Padme. He can feel her through their bond, terrified and fleeing. She went to Mustafar, to the facility Palpatine gave him as a retreat. She must have seen the temple burning, must have heard the reports. She knows something terrible has happened. Please. Anakin looks at the council. Let me speak with her. Let me explain before you lock me away. She deserves to hear the truth from me, not from Holonews reports, and I need to know she's safe. Obi-Wan considers this. He knows how much Padme means to Anakin. He also knows that Anakin's fear for her was what started this whole catastrophe. But he also knows that leaving things unresolved could be even more dangerous. Very well, but I'm coming with you. And Anakin, if this is a trick, if you're planning to run, I will kill you. Not capture you. Not bring you to trial. Kill you. I understand. Anakin meets his gaze. And I wouldn't blame you. They take Obi-Wan's ship to Mustafar, the volcanic planet where Palpatine established a fortress for his new apprentice. The journey is tense and silent. Obi-Wan sits in the pilot's seat, his hand never far from his lightsaber. Anakin sits in the back, staring out at the streaking stars of hyperspace, wondering what he's going to say to Padme. How do you explain that you murdered children? How do you ask for understanding when you don't understand yourself? On Mustafar, Padme stands on the landing platform outside the fortress, her ship ready to flee into the outer rim. She's wearing a heavy cloak to conceal her pregnancy, her face pale with fear and exhaustion. When Anakin's ship lands, she backs away instinctively, one hand protectively over her swollen belly. She's 8 months pregnant now, visibly showing. The sight of her, alive and safe, almost breaks Anakin's composure completely. Anakin, her voice trembles as he walks down the ramp slowly, hands raised and empty. Tell me it's not true. Tell me you didn't do what they're saying on the news. They're saying you attacked the Jedi Temple, that you killed masters and Padawans, that you killed younglings. Please tell me it's a lie. Some kind of separatist propaganda. His silence, his answer, enough. The horror that crosses her face is worse than any physical pain. She gasps, tears spilling down her cheeks, her hand flying to her mouth. No, you couldn't. You wouldn't. Anakin, you're a protector. You save people. You don't murder them. Not children. Not innocents. Padme, I need you to listen to me. He takes a step closer, and she flinches away as if he's struck her. The movement cuts deeper than any blade. I need you to understand why I did it. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm just asking you to listen. Why? Her voice rises, breaking with anguish. Why would I want to understand something so monstrous? What possible explanation could justify killing children to save you? The words come out in a rush. I've been having visions for months, dreams of you dying in childbirth. I saw you struggling to breathe, calling my name, and I couldn't do anything to help you. The visions were so real, Padme, so vivid. I could feel your pain. I could feel you slipping away, and I couldn't bear it. I couldn't lose you, so you killed innocent people? She's weeping openly now. You murdered Jedi younglings because you had bad dreams about me? How dare you, Anakin? How dare you put that on me? I know. His voice breaks. I know. It was wrong. I know there's no excuse. But Palpatine, he told me he could teach me to prevent death. He said the dark side had power over life itself, that he could show me how to save you. And I was so afraid of losing you that I believed him. I thought if I served him, if I did what he asked, he would teach me. And by the time I realized he was lying, that he was just using me, I'd already gone too far. I'd already murdered so many. You did this for me. Padme's voice is raw with pain and anger. You committed genocide for me? You betrayed everything we believe in, everything you swore to protect, because you were afraid I might die. Anakin, people die. It's part of life. I would rather die 1,000 times in childbirth than have you become a monster in my name. Do you understand that? I would rather never have met you than have you kill children because of me. I know. Anakin is openly weeping now, his composure shattered. I know, and you're right to hate me. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But Padme, I came back when I saw what I'd become. When the darkness finally lifted enough for me to see clearly, I stopped. I couldn't continue. Palpatine wanted me to hunt down Obi-Wan next, to fully embrace the dark side and become his enforcer. But I couldn't do it. I sat in the temple, surrounded by the bodies of people I killed, and I realized I'd destroyed everything for a lie. And that's supposed to make it better? She wipes tears from her face angrily. That you had a crisis of conscience after murdering dozens of people? That you stopped before killing dozens more? No. Nothing makes it better. Nothing can make it right. But I wanted you to know that I'm not going to continue down that path. I'm going to help the Jedi stop Palpatine. And then I'm going to face justice for what I've done. Whatever punishment they decide, whether it's execution or life imprisonment, I'll accept it. I won't fight it. I won't run. This is my burden to carry. Obi-Wan emerges from the ship. His presence a reminder that this conversation is being monitored, that Anakin is essentially a prisoner. It's true, Padme. He's helping us. I don't know if we can trust him completely. I don't know if I'll ever be able to look at him the same way. But Master Yoda believes he's genuinely returned to the light, that he can help us stop the Emperor. We need him to defeat Palpatine and save what's left of the Jedi Order. She looks between them, at Anakin's tear-stained face and Obi-Wan's grim expression. She sees the force-suppressing collar around Anakin's neck, the tracking device visible beneath his skin. She sees the defeat in his posture, the absolute absence of the confident swagger he once carried. This isn't the man she married. This is someone broken, someone who's seen the worst of himself and can't forget it. This doesn't make it right. Her voice is quieter now, though no less pained. Nothing can make this right, Anakin. You killed children. You betrayed everything you stood for. That's not something you can just apologize for and move on from. Those lives are gone. Those families are destroyed. And I don't know if I can ever look at you again without seeing their blood on your hands. I know. His voice is barely a whisper. I'll carry that for the rest of my life. But she takes a shaky breath, her hand still protective over her belly. If you're truly sorry, if you truly want redemption, then you'll spend the rest of your life trying to undo the damage you've caused. You'll help stop Palpatine. You'll work to protect the people you've endangered. And you'll face whatever justice demands without complaint. Not because it will earn you forgiveness. Nothing can earn that. But because it's the right thing to do. I will. I swear it. On our children's lives. I swear I'll never touch the dark side again. Don't. She holds up a hand, her voice sharp. Don't swear on our children. They're innocent. They don't deserve to be part of your vows or your redemption. She places a hand on her belly again, her expression softening slightly. These children will need a galaxy worth living in, one without Palpatine and his empire. If you can help create that, if you can help stop the monster who manipulated you, then do it. Not for redemption, not for forgiveness, but because the galaxy needs it. Anakin nods, unable to speak through the tightness in his throat. He wants to reach out, to hold her, to feel her warmth one more time. But he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve her touch or her comfort. He's lost that right through his own actions. Instead, he simply bows his head in acknowledgement. One more thing. Padme's voice is firm now, stronger. When this is over, when Palpatine is defeated, I don't want you near our children. Not until they're old enough to understand what you did and choose for themselves whether they want to know you. I won't poison them against you. I'll tell them the truth, all of it, the good and the bad. But I won't force them to accept you as their father just because you donated half their genes. The words are a knife to his heart. But Anakin nods. I understand. It's more than I deserve. Then help the Jedi. Stop Palpatine and face your judgment. If you survive all that, if the galaxy decides you deserve to live, then maybe someday you can try to be a father. But don't expect them to forgive you either. Don't expect anyone to forgive you. That's not how this works. I don't. I promise you. Padme, I don't expect forgiveness from anyone, least of all from you. She turns away, unable to look at him anymore. The pain is too fresh, too raw. Obi-Wan places a gentle hand on her shoulder, offering what comfort he can. Anakin watches them, feeling the distance between himself and the people he loves growing into an unbridgeable chasm. This is what he's done. This is the cost of his fall. They return to the hidden safe house where the Jedi are gathered. Anakin is immediately fitted with additional security measures. The Force-suppressing collar is calibrated more precisely. A tracking device is implanted beneath his skin, one that will alert the Jedi if he travels beyond certain boundaries, or if his Force signature shows signs of dark side corruption. He's assigned 2 guards at all times, Jedi who will watch him constantly and who have orders to kill him if he shows any signs of betrayal. But with those measures in place, they begin planning their strike against Palpatine. Anakin provides detailed intelligence about the Imperial Palace's defenses. He sketches maps of the building from memory, marking secret passages, security stations, guard rotations, everything. He describes Palpatine's combat abilities in detail, his incredible speed, his mastery of Force lightning, his unpredictable fighting style that blends multiple forms. The Emperor is expecting me to return to him. Anakin points to a section of the map. He'll be in his meditation chamber, consolidating his power through the Force. If we move quickly, we can catch him before he fully entrenches himself. But we can't wait long. Every day we delay, he grows stronger. Every day, more clones are activated with their inhibitor chips. Every day, more Jedi die. The team they assemble consists of the strongest warriors available. Yoda, whose mastery of the Force is unmatched. Obi-Wan, whose defensive skills and tactical mind make him invaluable. Anakin, despite the mistrust, because his knowledge of Palpatine is essential. And to everyone's shock, Mace Windu. Yes, Mace survived. When Anakin cut off his hand and Palpatine threw him from the window, Mace used the Force to slow his fall at the last possible second. He crashed through a lower-level platform instead of falling to his death, shattering bones and rupturing organs. He was found by a family in the lower levels who hid him, who nursed him back to health despite knowing he was a Jedi and that harboring him could mean death. It took him weeks to recover enough to contact the Order. And by then, Order 66 had already devastated the Jedi. When Mace enters the safe house, supported by a cane and moving stiffly from his injuries, the room falls silent. His face is gaunt, lined with pain and loss. His right arm ends in a cauterized stump where Anakin cut it off. But his eyes burn with purpose. His presence in the Force is diminished but still powerful, still focused. And when he sees Anakin, the rage that crosses his face is terrifying. You, Mace's voice is a growl. You did this to me. You betrayed me. You betrayed all of us. And now they tell me I'm supposed to work alongside you? Fight beside you? Pretend like you didn't destroy everything? Anakin can't meet his gaze. Master Windu. There's nothing I can say that will make this right. You're damn right there isn't. Mace advances on him, despite his injuries, despite the cane. I saw the truth about Palpatine. I was going to end him, going to save the Republic and the Jedi Order. And you stopped me. You chose him over me, over us, over everything you claimed to believe in. If you had just trusted me, just let me do what needed to be done, none of this would have happened. The temple would still stand. Those younglings would still be alive. I know. Anakin forces himself to look up, to meet Mace's eyes. You're right. It's all my fault. Every death, every tragedy, it all comes back to my choice in that moment. And I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Regret won't bring them back. Mace stands inches from Anakin now, his remaining hand clenched into a fist. Give me one reason why I shouldn't kill you right now. One reason why you deserve to draw another breath after what you've done. Because we need him. Yoda's voice cuts through the tension. Because stop Palpatine without him, we cannot. Because as much as it pains me, as wrong as it feels, use every tool we have. We must. Even tools stained with blood. Mace doesn't move for a long moment. Then he spits at Anakin's feet and turns away. Fine. I'll work with him. But if he so much as hesitates, if I see even a flicker of darkness, I'll end him myself. And this time, nothing will stop me. The assault on the Imperial Palace is planned for that very night. They can't afford to wait. Every hour gives Palpatine more time to consolidate his power, to activate more clones, to hunt down more Jedi. They move through the underlevels of Coruscant, using abandoned maintenance tunnels that Anakin knows about from his time exploring the planet as a young Padawan. The city above is celebrating the rise of the Empire. Fireworks explode in the sky. Citizens cheer for their new Emperor, believing his lies about the Jedi betrayal. Anakin leads them through secret passages he learned about during his brief time as Palpatine's enforcer. The path takes them directly beneath the Imperial Palace, into old Republic bunkers that were sealed decades ago. They emerge in a forgotten sublevel, dusty and dark. From there, it's a matter of moving silently through maintenance shafts and service corridors until they reach the Emperor's meditation chamber. But as they approach, Anakin feels something wrong. A disturbance in the Force, a sense of anticipation. He stops, holding up a hand. Wait, something's off. What is it? Obi-Wan asks, his hand on his lightsaber. I don't know, but it feels like he's waiting for us, like he knew we were coming. They proceed more cautiously, but it's too late. When they burst through the doors to the meditation chamber, Palpatine is indeed waiting. He stands in the center of the room, his back to them, staring out at the Coruscant skyline through massive windows. The city lights reflect off his robes, making him look almost ethereal. Ah, young Skywalker. Palpatine doesn't turn around, but his voice fills the chamber. I sensed your conflict, your weakness, your pathetic return to the light. Did you truly think you could hide from me? That I wouldn't feel your presence the moment you entered my palace? You lied to me about everything. Anakin ignites his lightsaber, the blue blade humming. You never intended to save Padme. You manufactured the visions to manipulate me. You used my fear against me." Palpatine laughs, a sound like breaking glass. "Of course I did. That's what fear is for, my fallen apprentice. It's a tool, a weapon, and you were so eager to be wielded." His laughter grows. "But yes, the visions were real. Your wife will die, Anakin. That much was always true. Perhaps not in childbirth, now that you've betrayed me. Perhaps I'll have her executed publicly for treason. Perhaps I'll make you watch. The possibilities are endless." "Never." Anakin moves into position alongside Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Mace Windu, the four of them spreading out to surround the Emperor. "I'd rather die than let you hurt her." "Then die you shall." Palpatine finally turns, and they see his face fully. His eyes are yellow with dark side corruption, his features twisted with malice. But there's also amusement there. Confidence. He's not afraid of 4 Jedi. He's looking forward to this. "Come then. Show me if your return to the light has made you stronger or simply more pathetic." His lightsaber ignites with a snap hiss, the crimson blade casting red shadows across the chamber. Then he moves, and he's faster than any of them expected. Faster than should be possible. He becomes a whirlwind of dark side energy, his blade moving in arcs that seem to be in 3 places at once. He attacks Mace first, recognizing him as the greatest threat despite his injuries. Mace barely gets his purple blade up in time, blocking a strike that would have taken his head off. The impact sends shockwaves through his damaged body. But he holds firm, drawing on Varpad to channel his rage into power. Their blades lock for a moment, purple and red, light and dark, and Palpatine grins. "Still alive, Windu? I should have made sure you were dead. An oversight I'll correct. Now." He unleashes a burst of Force lightning, but Yoda is there, absorbing the energy and redirecting it harmlessly. The ancient master's eyes glow with power as he leaps into the fray, his small green blade flashing. Attack low, he does, targeting Palpatine's legs and forcing the Emperor to defend downward. Obi-Wan joins from the right, his defensive mastery allowing him to probe for openings without overextending. And Anakin comes from the left, his strikes powerful but controlled, fueled by purpose rather than rage. The 4 Jedi move in coordination, their years of training and combat experience evident in every strike. They've fought together before, know each other's styles, can anticipate each other's moves. But Palpatine is a master who's lived for decades, who's studied the dark side in ways they can barely comprehend. He doesn't just fight them, he toys with them. Pathetic. His blade catches Obi-Wan's, twisting it aside and scoring a shallow cut across his shoulder. Is this the best the Jedi can offer? 4 warriors against 1 old man, and you still can't touch me. He's trying to make us angry. Yoda's voice is calm despite the intensity of the battle. Give in to emotion. We must not. Focus. Coordinate. Together, we are stronger. But Palpatine targets Anakin specifically, recognizing him as the weak link. You killed younglings, Anakin. His voice echoes with dark power, seeping into Anakin's mind like poison. You felt their fear, their betrayal. You heard them crying for help, and you cut them down anyway. And now you think you can simply return to the light. You think one moment of regret erases what you've become. You are mine, Skywalker. You will always be mine. The words hit Anakin like physical blows, and his defense falters. Images flash through his mind, the faces of the younglings, their screams, the feeling of his lightsaber cutting through their small bodies. The dark side whispers that Palpatine is right, that he's too far gone, that he should give in. His blade drops an inch, just an inch, but it's enough. Palpatine's crimson blade cuts across Anakin's shoulder, drawing blood and making him stagger. The Emperor follows up with another strike, aimed at his heart, and Anakin barely parries it, but he's off balance, vulnerable. Palpatine presses the advantage, his attacks coming faster and faster, driving Anakin back toward the window. "Focus, Anakin!" Obi-Wan blocks a strike, meant for Anakin's head, taking the impact on his blade. Don't let him get in your head, but it's too late. Palpatine's manipulation has found its mark. Anakin's fighting is sloppy now, desperate. He's defending rather than attacking, reacting rather than anticipating. And Palpatine knows it. The Emperor unleashes another burst of Force lightning, and this time it catches Anakin full in the chest. Pain like nothing he's ever experienced courses through Anakin's body. His nerves scream. His flesh burns. He can smell his own body cooking from the inside, the scent of charred meat filling his nostrils. The Force-suppressing collar shorts out, sparking and smoking. His muscles spasm uncontrollably, and he drops to his knees, unable to even hold his lightsaber. Yoda leaps at Palpatine, forcing him to divert the lightning. Mace Windu follows, his purple blade coming down in a devastating arc. But Palpatine is ready. He sidesteps Mace's attack and counters with a strike that nearly takes the Jedi Master's remaining hand. Obi-Wan tries to flank him, but the Emperor spins, his blade moving in a defensive pattern that keeps all three Jedi at bay. Anakin lies on the ground, twitching and smoking. Through the pain, through the agony, he hears Palpatine's voice. "See how easily you fall? See how weak you truly are? You belong to the darkness, Skywalker. You always have. Stop fighting it and embrace your true nature." No. The word comes out as barely a whisper. Anakin forces himself to his hands and knees. Every movement, agony. His body screams at him to stay down, to give up, but he can't. Padme's face flashes through his mind. Obi-Wan's disappointment. The younglings' deaths. All of it, all the pain and guilt and horror, crystallizes into a single thought. I have to stop him. I have to make this right, even if it kills me. He reaches for his lightsaber, his hand shaking. The Force flows through him. Not the dark side's power, but something gentler, more balanced. The light side doesn't give him strength through anger or fear. It gives him strength through purpose, through connection, through the desperate need to protect those he loves. He stands, slowly, his body still sparking with residual electricity. Palpatine sees him rising and laughs. "Still trying? Still fighting? You should have stayed down, boy." He unleashes another torrent of lightning, but this time Anakin is ready. He ignites his lightsaber and uses it to catch the lightning, absorbing it and redirecting it into the floor. The marble cracks and shatters from the energy. "Obi-Wan!" Anakin's voice is strained but clear. Now, Obi-Wan doesn't hesitate. He trusts his former Padawan, trusts that this isn't a trick. He lunges at Palpatine from the side, his blade flashing forward in a perfect thrust. The Emperor has to divert his lightning to defend, giving Yoda an opening. The ancient master leaps impossibly high, his blade coming down toward Palpatine's head. The Emperor spins, blocking both attacks but leaving himself open. Mace Windu, despite his injuries, despite his exhaustion, channels everything he has into Varpard. His blade becomes an extension of his will, fueled by righteous fury and the dark side energy Palpatine radiates. He strikes with all his strength, and his purple blade cuts deep into Palpatine's shoulder. The Emperor screams, a sound of rage and pain that shakes the very foundations of the building. He lashes out with raw force power, throwing Mace across the room. But he's wounded now, bleeding. His attacks become more desperate, less controlled. He tries to retreat, to create distance. But the four Jedi press him relentlessly. Anakin forces himself to ignore the pain, to push through the agony. He sees Palpatine preparing another lightning attack. This one aimed directly at Obi-Wan, who's focused on his footwork and doesn't see it coming. Anakin doesn't think. He doesn't hesitate. He throws himself between Obi-Wan and the Emperor. The lightning hits him again, and this time it's worse, more focused, more powerful. Palpatine pours all his hate into it, all his fury at being betrayed by his apprentice. Anakin's flesh burns, his muscles tear, his bones crack from the strain. But he stays on his feet, using every ounce of force ability he has to ground himself, to keep from flying apart. Obi-Wan. Anakin's voice is barely recognizable, distorted by pain. Now, end this. Obi-Wan's lightsaber flashes forward, piercing Palpatine's chest. The Emperor's eyes widen in shock. Yoda's blade follows, severing the Sith Lord's hand and sending his lightsaber clattering to the floor. And Mace Windu, channeling all his rage and grief and pain, brings his purple blade down in a final, devastating strike that severs Palpatine's head from his body. The Emperor falls. His body collapses, and the dark side energy that filled the room suddenly dissipates like smoke. For a moment, there's only silence. Then Anakin collapses as well, his body finally giving out. He hits the marble floor hard, unable to feel anything anymore. His nerves are fried. His flesh is burned. His entire body is in shutdown. Obi-Wan catches him, lowering him gently. "Anakin, stay with me. You did it. We did it. He's gone. Palpatine is dead." Anakin's eyes flutter. He can barely see, his vision darkening at the edges. "Padme, keep her safe. Promise me. And the children. Tell them, I'm sorry. Tell them I tried to make it right. You're going to tell them yourself." Obi-Wan's voice cracks, and to his own surprise, he realizes he's crying. "You're not dying here, Anakin. Not after everything. You're going to survive. And you're going to face your judgment. And you're going to spend the rest of your life making amends. Do you understand me? You don't get the easy way out." They rush Anakin to a medical facility, one loyal to Bail Organa in the Senate district. The medical droids swarm him immediately, their optical sensors taking in the extensive damage. The prognosis is grim. Third-degree burns over 60% of his body. severe nerve damage, muscle tissue destroyed, internal organs stressed beyond normal capacity. They work for hours, stabilizing him, placing him in a Bacta tank, doing everything they can. Outside the medical center, the galaxy erupts into chaos. News of Palpatine's death spreads rapidly. Some celebrate the tyrant's fall. Others mourn their emperor. The Imperial forces fracture immediately. Some clone commanders, upon learning about the inhibitor chips, order their removal and side with the Jedi. Others, loyal to the Empire's ideals or simply following orders, continue fighting. It's a messy, complicated civil war that spreads across thousands of systems. The Jedi spread the codes Anakin provided, the frequencies that disable the inhibitor chips. Slowly, clone troopers across the galaxy are freed from their programming. Many are horrified by what they were forced to do, by the Jedi they killed while under mind control. Some can't live with the guilt and take their own lives. Others join the reformed Republic forces, determined to make amends. The galaxy is in turmoil, but for the first time since Order 66, there's hope. While Anakin recovers, Padme goes into labor. The stress of recent events, the emotional trauma, it all triggers premature contractions. She's rushed to a medical facility on Naboo, far from the chaos of Coruscant. Obi-Wan is there, along with Bail Organa and his wife Breha. The labor is long and difficult. Padme's body is weak from stress and grief, but she fights through it, determined to bring her children into the world. Luke is born first, crying loudly, his tiny fists waving. He's small but strong, his presence in the Force bright and clear. Leia follows minutes later, quieter but no less determined. When the medical droid places them in Padme's arms, she weeps. Relief, joy, and overwhelming sorrow that Anakin isn't there to see them, that their father is lying in a Bacta tank, more dead than alive, paying for his crimes. The visions were wrong. Obi-Wan stands beside her bed, looking down at the twins. You survived. Padme gives a weak smile. Or maybe Anakin's return to the light changed fate. Maybe by choosing differently in that throne room, by taking Palpatine's lightning for you, he altered the future. We'll never know for sure. Should I tell him? When he wakes up? Should I tell him his children are alive and well? Padme looks down at Luke and Leia, so small and innocent and perfect. She thinks about Anakin, about the man she married and the monster he became. She thinks about justice and mercy and the impossible complexity of love. Yes, tell him. He deserves to know they're safe. But Obi-Wan, don't bring them to see him. Not yet. Not until we know for certain that he's truly returned to the light. I won't risk exposing them to darkness. Anakin wakes 3 days later. The Bacta has done its work, healing the worst of the damage, but he'll carry the scars forever. His body is a patchwork of burned tissue and regenerated skin. His voice is rough, damaged by the screaming. His hands shake from nerve damage. When he opens his eyes and sees Obi-Wan sitting beside the tank, his first question is immediate. Padme, the children, are they alive? Obi-Wan's expression softens slightly. She gave birth 2 days ago. Twins, a boy and a girl. Luke and Leia. They're healthy, strong, perfect. The visions were wrong, Anakin. Or you changed them. Either way, she survived. Anakin breaks down completely. The relief, the joy, the guilt, all of it crashes over him at once. He's sobbing in the bacta tank, the fluid around him rippling from his shaking. She's alive. They're alive. Thank the Force. Thank the Force. But Obi-Wan's expression remains serious. Anakin, you need to understand. Padme doesn't want you near them. Not yet. Not until after your trial. She's willing to let them know you exist, willing to tell them about you, but she won't expose them to you until the galaxy has judged you and found you worthy or unworthy. Do you understand? Yes. Anakin's voice is hollow. I understand. It's more than I deserve. The medical droids release him after another week. His body is functional, if permanently damaged. He'll never move quite as gracefully as he once did. The extensive nerve damage ensures that. But he's alive, mobile, and as recovered as he's going to get. The Jedi fit him with a new force-suppressing collar, recalibrated and stronger. The tracking device is replaced with an updated model, and his guards are doubled. But there's no time to rest. The galaxy is still in chaos. The Empire's remnants are fighting desperately to maintain control. The Inquisitors that Palpatine trained are hunting down Jedi, determined to complete their master's work. And Sith cultists across the galaxy, inspired by Palpatine's brief reign, are causing problems. Anakin is deployed immediately. His knowledge and skills too valuable to waste. His first mission is to hunt down the Grand Inquisitor, a former Jedi Temple guard who fell to the dark side. Anakin knows where he operates, knows his patterns and habits. He leads a strike team to Coruscant's industrial district, where the Inquisitor has been executing Force-sensitive children to prevent them from becoming future Jedi. The battle is brutal. The Grand Inquisitor recognizes Anakin immediately and taunts him about his fall, Lord Vader. Or should I say, fallen Lord Vader. How does it feel to crawl back to the masters you betrayed? To beg for their forgiveness like a whipped cur? I'm not begging for anything. Anakin's lightsaber flashes, blocking a spinning strike from the Inquisitor's double-bladed weapon. I'm here to stop you from killing innocents. That's all that matters. They fight across rooftops and through abandoned factories. The Grand Inquisitor is skilled, trained in the Jedi arts before his fall, and enhanced by dark side teaching. But Anakin is better. He's learned from his mistakes. He doesn't let anger fuel him. He doesn't reach for the dark side's easy power. Instead, he fights with precision and purpose, dismantling the Inquisitor's defenses systematically. When the Grand Inquisitor falls, defeated but alive, Anakin doesn't kill him. He restrains him, disarms him, and brings him back to face trial. It would be easier to execute him, quicker. But Anakin has learned that easy and quick aren't always right. The Inquisitor deserves justice, not vengeance. Word spreads quickly through the remaining Imperial forces. Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi who fell and returned, is hunting them. Some flee, some surrender, others fight desperately, knowing capture means facing justice for their crimes. Anakin hunts them relentlessly. The second sister on Kashyyyk, the fifth brother on Tatooine, the seventh sister on Felucia. One by one, the Inquisitors are captured or killed. Their reign of terror ended, but it's not just the Inquisitors. Anakin also goes after the systems he helped devastate during his brief time as Vader. He travels to Ryloth, where he helped Imperial forces enslave Twi'leks for labor camps. He works alongside freed slaves to dismantle the infrastructure, to remove the chains, to begin the long process of healing. The Twi'leks don't trust him. Many want him dead, but he works anyway, taking their hatred as his due. He goes to Geonosis, where he participated in the destruction of a droid factory that also killed thousands of Geonosian workers. He helps rebuild, using his mechanical skills to restore what was destroyed. The Geonosians communicate through pheromones and clicking sounds, but their meaning is clear. They remember what he did. They'll never forgive him, but they allow him to help because they need the labor. He goes to Mon Cala, where Imperial forces under his brief command suppressed a rebellion by drowning entire cities. He works with engineers to restore the underwater habitats, to pump out the flooded areas, to recover the bodies of the dead for proper burial. The Mon Calamari and Quarren alike spit on him, curse him, throw things at him. He takes it all without complaint. Everywhere he goes, he's met with hatred and suspicion. The galaxy knows what he did. The Holonet broadcasts show images of the burning temple, of the dead Jedi, of the Empire's atrocities. His face is synonymous with betrayal and murder, but he keeps working, keeps trying, keeps pushing forward. Because what else can he do? Giving up would be the ultimate betrayal, the final admission that his fall meant nothing, that he learned nothing. Years pass. The galaxy slowly stabilizes. The Reformed Republic, now called the New Republic, establishes itself with new laws designed to prevent another Palpatine from rising. The Jedi Order begins to rebuild, learning from their mistakes. They allow attachments now, families, love, but they teach balance, teach how to handle emotions healthily rather than suppressing them. They study Anakin's fall obsessively, using it as a case study for every new Padawan. Anakin becomes a teaching tool, a living example of what happens when fear and attachment go wrong. He's brought before classes of younglings to tell his story, to answer their questions, to show them the scars he carries. It's humiliating and painful, but he does it because it might prevent another fall. If even one Padawan learns from his mistakes, if even one future Jedi avoids his path, then the shame is worth it. Luke and Leia grow up on Naboo, raised primarily by Padme, with help from Bail Organa's family and occasional supervision from Obi-Wan. They're remarkably different children. Luke is curious and compassionate, always asking questions about everything. He's fascinated by stories of Jedi, by tales of the Force, by the possibilities of what he might become. Leia is fierce and determined, more interested in politics and justice than mysticism. She asks hard questions about right and wrong, about justice and mercy, about her father's crimes. Padme doesn't sugarcoat Anakin's fall. She tells them the truth, age-appropriate versions at first, but the truth nonetheless. Your father made terrible choices. He hurt people. He killed innocents, including children not much older than you. He did this because he was afraid of losing me. But fear doesn't excuse his actions. Nothing excuses what he did. Luke asks, "Do you still love him?" He's 5 years old when he asks this. too young to fully understand, but old enough to sense the complexity. Padme takes a long time to answer. I love the man I married, the man who freed slaves and fought for justice. But that man made choices that turned him into someone else, someone I don't recognize. Can you love someone and hate what they've become? I don't know, Luke. I really don't know, Leia asks. Why is he still alive? She's 7 when she asks this, her sense of justice already sharp. If he killed people, why hasn't he been executed? Because the galaxy decided he could do more good alive than dead. Padme chooses her words carefully. He's working to fix the damage he caused, to stop other bad people, to make sure the Empire never rises again. That doesn't erase what he did, but it means something. Whether it's enough is for others to decide. The trial finally takes place when the twins are 8 years old. The galaxy has stabilized enough that proper legal proceedings can occur. It's held on Naboo, in a neutral location, in a massive hall that can accommodate the hundreds of observers, witnesses, and officials. Senators from across the New Republic attend. Surviving Jedi take seats of honor. And Anakin stands alone in the center, wearing simple prison garments, his hands bound in force-suppressing cuffs. The charges are read, and they take an hour just to list mass murder, treason, war crimes, assault on the Jedi Order, assault on democracy itself. The list goes on and on. Each charge is accompanied by holographic evidence, security footage from the temple showing Anakin cutting down Jedi, testimony from survivors, reports from worlds devastated by his brief time as Vader. It's comprehensive, damning, and undeniable. Anakin doesn't contest any of it. When asked how he pleads, his response is simple: guilty to all charges. I did everything I'm accused of and more. I don't ask for mercy. I ask only that the galaxy's judgment be swift and final. But the trial isn't just about determining guilt. That's already established. The trial is about deciding what comes next. What do you do with someone who committed genocide but then returned to the light? Who helped defeat the Sith Lord responsible for everything but can never undo his own crimes? It's a question the galaxy has never faced before. Witnesses testify for both prosecution and defense. Survivors of the Temple massacre speak about their trauma, their loss, their hatred for the man who destroyed their family. A Twi'lek mother talks about her daughter who was enslaved because of orders Anakin gave. A Geonosian survivor shows images of the factory workers who died in the explosion Anakin caused. The testimony is heartbreaking and damning, but others speak too. Clone troopers freed from their inhibitor chips testify about how Anakin provided the codes that saved them. Jedi, whose lives were saved by intelligence, Anakin provided. Citizens of worlds where Anakin helped defeat Inquisitors or Imperial remnants. Their testimony doesn't excuse his crimes, but it provides context. It shows that since his return, he's been trying. Obi-Wan testifies, and his testimony is perhaps the most painful. He speaks about training Anakin, about watching him grow from a young slave boy into a powerful Jedi. He talks about their brotherhood, their bond, and then he talks about the betrayal, about finding Anakin in the temple surrounded by bodies. I wanted to kill him that day. He meets Anakin's eyes. I should have killed him. It would have been justice. But Master Yoda stopped me, convinced me that Anakin could help us stop Palpatine. And he was right. Without Anakin's knowledge, without his sacrifice in that throne room, Palpatine might still be alive. The Empire might still rule. Does that excuse what he did? Obi-Wan shakes his head. No, nothing excuses it. But it means something. It means he chose the light when it mattered most. It means he's been trying to atone every day since. I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if it ever can be enough. But I believe in redemption. I have to believe in it, or everything we've fought for is meaningless. Padme testifies last among the character witnesses. She's visibly uncomfortable, her hands clasped tightly together. She talks about their relationship, about how Anakin saved her on Naboo, how he fought against injustice, how he dreamed of freeing all slaves across the galaxy. She talks about his fear of losing her, about how Palpatine manipulated that fear into something monstrous. And she talks about the aftermath, about Luke and Leia, about raising children whose father is a war criminal. My children ask me about their father. Her voice breaks slightly. They ask if he's a good man, and I don't know how to answer. He was good once. He did terrible things, and now he's trying to be good again. What does that make him? I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. She looks at Anakin directly. But I know this. He saved my life by returning to the light. His choice in that throne room, to take Palpatine's lightning, to give the Jedi the opening they needed, that choice saved not just me, but our children. They exist because he chose the light at the critical moment. That has to mean something. Do you forgive him? The prosecutor asks. Padme's answer is immediate and firm. No, I will never forgive him for what he did. Those children he killed, they had families who loved them. Those Jedi who died, they had friends and students and lives ahead of them. I don't have the right to forgive him on their behalf, but I can acknowledge that he's trying, that he's changed, that he's not the same person who committed those crimes. And I can hope that's enough for him to find some measure of peace someday. Bail Organa proposes the sentence, working with the New Republic's legal experts and the Jedi Council. It's carefully crafted to balance justice with pragmatism. Anakin Skywalker cannot be executed. His knowledge of Sith lore, of Imperial infrastructure, of dark side techniques is too valuable. His ability to teach future generations about the dangers of the dark side is irreplaceable. But he also cannot go unpunished. The proposed sentence is harsh and comprehensive. Anakin will never be a full Jedi again. He's stripped of his rank, his place in the Order, every honor he ever earned. He'll serve the New Republic as a sentinel, a roaming enforcer, tasked with hunting down remaining Imperial forces, dark-side cultists, and Sith artifacts. He'll be under constant supervision, with Jedi assigned to monitor him at all times. A new permanent tracking device will be implanted, one that will alert authorities if he touches the dark side even slightly. He's forbidden from training Padawans directly or teaching at any Jedi temple. His lessons about his fall can be recorded and shared, but he cannot have direct, unsupervised contact with younglings. He must personally visit every world he helped devastate during his time as Vader, offering whatever aid and restitution he can provide. This alone will take decades. Most controversially, Bail proposes that Anakin should have limited, supervised contact with his children. Not none, because Luke and Leia deserve to know their father if they choose, but restricted and monitored. Padme will have primary custody. Anakin will be allowed 4 supervised visits per year, each one monitored by Jedi guardians. As Luke and Leia grow older, they'll be allowed to decide for themselves how much contact they want. But until they're adults, their exposure to Anakin will be carefully controlled. The sentence is meant to be rehabilitative rather than purely punitive. It recognizes that Anakin has already shown genuine remorse and has been working to atone, but it also recognizes the severity of his crimes and the need for justice. It's a compromise that satisfies no one completely, which perhaps makes it the right choice. The vote is not unanimous, but it passes. Several senators call for execution. A few call for life imprisonment, but the majority recognizes the practical value of using Anakin's skills while ensuring he can never threaten the galaxy again. The sentence is passed, and Anakin accepts it without argument or complaint. After the trial, Anakin is fitted with the new tracking device. It's more sophisticated than the previous model, capable of monitoring not just his location, but his Force signature. If he even brushes against the dark side, alarms will sound across the galaxy. If he removes it or attempts to disable it, he'll be hunted down and executed. He accepts these conditions knowing they're necessary, knowing he's earned every restriction placed on him. His first official act after sentencing is to craft a new lightsaber. The Jedi allow him this, recognizing he'll need a weapon for his work as a sentinel. He travels to Elam, now scarred by the Empire's mining but still home to kyber crystals. He spends days in the caves, meditating, reaching out through the Force. Most crystals reject him, sensing his past darkness. But eventually, he finds one. It's broken, cracked down the middle by some ancient trauma. By all rights, it shouldn't work. But Anakin feels a kinship with it. Another broken thing, trying to serve the light. He takes it carefully, gently, and spends weeks repairing it with the Force. He doesn't try to make it perfect. He can't. But he can make it functional, whole enough to serve. When he finally activates his new lightsaber, the blade is white. Not blue like it was before his fall, not red like it would be if he'd stayed with the dark side. White, pure, neutral, a symbol of his path forward. The first supervised visit with Luke and Leia is scheduled 6 months after the trial. It takes place in a garden on Naboo, carefully monitored by 2 Jedi guardians and with Padme present. The twins are nervous, curious, uncertain. They've seen hollow images of their father, heard stories both terrible and inspiring, but meeting him in person is different. Anakin kneels to be at their eye level, his scarred hands trembling slightly. Luke, Leia, I know you've heard a lot about me, most of it terrible. And I want you to know that it's all true. I did the things people say I did. I hurt people. I made terrible choices. And I'll understand if you don't want to know me. Luke steps forward first, his curiosity overcoming his fear. Did you really take lightning for Master Kenobi? Did you really help stop the Emperor? I did. But that doesn't erase what I did before. It just means I chose differently when it mattered. I chose the light instead of continuing down the dark path. It's the bare minimum of what I should have done, not something worthy of praise. Leia is more skeptical, her arms crossed. Why should we believe you've changed? How do we know you won't fall again? She's 8 years old, but speaks with the precision of someone much older. Anakin meets her gaze steadily. You don't know. You can't know for certain. All I can do is show you through my actions, through the choices I make every day, through the work I do trying to make the galaxy safer. And if you decide you don't want me in your life, I'll respect that. You don't owe me anything just because I'm your biological father. A father is someone who earns that title through love and care and presence. I haven't earned it yet. Maybe I never will. The visit is awkward and stilted, but it's a start. They talk about simple things. Luke asks about piloting and the Force. Leia asks about politics and justice. Anakin answers their questions honestly, never shying away from the difficult topics. When the hour is up, Luke hugs him briefly before leaving. Leia doesn't, but she nods in acknowledgement. It's more than Anakin expected. The visits continue 4 times a year. Every year. Slowly, gradually, the relationship develops. It's not the close father-child bond that might have been. It's something more complicated, more fraught. But it's real. Luke grows more comfortable, asking deeper questions about the Force, about Anakin's training, about how to avoid falling to the dark side. Leia remains more distant but watches carefully, judging Anakin's every word and action. When Luke turns 10, he asks about Jedi training. He wants to learn, wants to understand the Force, that he can feel thrumming through his veins. Padme is hesitant, worried about her son following his father's path. But Obi-Wan argues that suppressing Luke's Force sensitivity would be worse than training him properly. The question becomes, who will train him? The Jedi Council debates this extensively. Luke is strong in the Force, incredibly so. His potential rivals his father's, but can they risk having Anakin involved in his training? What if Anakin's influence corrupts him? What if old patterns repeat? They argue for weeks before reaching an unprecedented decision. Luke will be trained primarily by Obi-Wan, with oversight from Yoda and other masters. But Anakin will be allowed to contribute to his training, not as a master, not officially, but as someone who can teach about the dark side's dangers from personal experience. Someone who can show Luke what happens when you make the wrong choices. It's controversial and risky, but they believe the benefit outweighs the danger. The first official training session between Anakin and Luke takes place when the boy is 13. They meet in a training room at the Naboo Palace under Obi-Wan's supervision. Luke is eager, but uncertain. Anakin is nervous, knowing this is a responsibility he doesn't deserve but must fulfill anyway. Show me what Master Obi-Wan has taught you. Anakin's voice is gruff, but not unkind. Luke goes through the basic forms, displaying competent skill for his age. He's rough around the edges. His movements, not yet refined, but the potential is clear. Anakin watches with a critical eye that reminds Obi-Wan painfully of better days, of when Anakin himself was young and eager and unscarred by darkness. Your footwork is sloppy. Anakin steps forward, adjusting Luke's stance with his hands. You're telegraphing your strikes. I can see each attack before you make it, and you're too tense. The Force flows through you like a river. Don't strangle it. Let it guide you, naturally. Luke bristles slightly at the criticism. I'm doing my best. Your best isn't good enough. Not if you want to survive in a galaxy that still has dark side users. Not if you want to protect people. Anakin ignites his white lightsaber, the blade humming to life. Come at me, really attack, don't hold back. Luke hesitates but then rushes forward with all the impulsiveness Anakin himself had at that age. Anakin disarms him in 3 moves. So fast, Luke barely sees them. The boy's lightsaber flies across the room, and Anakin's blade stops an inch from his throat. Dead. Let's go again. They train for hours. Anakin is brutal and demanding, pushing Luke harder than Obi-Wan ever did. But there's no cruelty in it, no enjoyment of the boy's struggles, just the desperate need to make sure his son is prepared for the dangers of the galaxy. When Luke finally lands a hit, a glancing blow to Anakin's shoulder, Anakin actually smiles. There. That's it. You felt the Force guide you, didn't you? Luke nods, breathing hard. It was like the lightsaber moved on its own. Like I knew where you'd be before you got there. That's what you need to cultivate. Trust in the Force, but also trust yourself, your instincts, your compassion. Those are your greatest strengths. Luke, they're what will keep you from falling like I did. Don't ever lose them. No matter how hard things get, no matter how afraid you become, hold onto that compassion. Luke looks at his father, really looks at him, at the scars covering his body, the permanent damage from Palpatine's lightning, at the pain in his eyes that never fully fades, at the white lightsaber that symbolizes his path forward. Did you really kill all those Jedi? The question hangs in the air. Anakin could lie, could soften it, but he doesn't. Yes, I did. 37 Jedi at the temple, plus others through my actions as Vader. I killed them because I was afraid and arrogant, because I thought I knew better than everyone else, because I let fear turn to anger, anger to hate, and it destroyed everything I loved. But you came back. You helped stop Palpatine. Doesn't that count for something? Coming back doesn't erase what I did. Nothing can. But it means I get to spend every day trying to be better, trying to help instead of hurt, trying to make sure the mistakes I made serve as lessons for others. That's all I can do now. All any of us can do when we've done something terrible. Try to be better going forward. Why did you do it? Was it really just to save Mom? Anakin sits down heavily on a training mat. It's more complicated than that, Luke. Your mother was part of it. I had visions of her dying, and Palpatine promised he could teach me to stop it. But it was deeper. I grew up a slave on Tatooine, completely powerless to help anyone, not even my own mother. When I became a Jedi, I thought I'd finally have the power to protect everyone I cared about. But the Jedi taught detachment. They told me to let go, to trust the Force, and I couldn't. Every time I tried, the fear just grew stronger. So Palpatine offered me something different. He said I could have both power and love, that I didn't have to choose. And in my arrogance, I believed him. By the time I realized he was using me, manipulating every fear and insecurity I had, I'd already done terrible things. And I told myself it was too late to turn back, that I was too far gone, that I might as well keep going. He meets Luke's eyes. But I was wrong. You're never too far gone, Luke. Remember that. No matter how dark things seem, no matter how many mistakes you've made, you always have a choice. You can always turn back to the light. It won't erase what you've done. It won't make everything okay. But it means you can stop making things worse. And maybe, if you work hard enough, you can start making things better. Luke absorbs this, his young mind processing the complexity. The training continues over the years, with Anakin teaching Luke not just lightsaber techniques, but Force abilities, how to sense danger, how to move objects, how to influence minds ethically, and most importantly, how to resist the dark side's call. Anakin shares his own temptations, his own struggles, the whispers he still sometimes hears even now. The dark side is always there. Anakin demonstrates by having Luke close his eyes and sense the Force. Feel it? That cold current underneath the warmth? That easy power that promises to solve all your problems? That's the dark side. It's seductive because it offers quick solutions, instant gratification, but it's a lie. The power comes at a cost. It corrupts everything it touches. How do you resist it? By remembering what it cost me, by thinking about the younglings' faces, by feeling the weight of every life I destroyed. That pain, that guilt, it keeps me from reaching for the dark side's easy power, because I know where that path leads. I've walked it, and I nearly destroyed the galaxy. I won't do it again, but that sounds horrible. Luke's face shows genuine distress. You live with that pain every day? That guilt? Yes. And I deserve it. It's the price I pay for my mistakes. But Luke, you don't have to carry that weight. You can learn from my failures without experiencing them yourself. That's the gift I can give you. My pain becomes your lesson. Leia's relationship with Anakin is more complicated and slower to develop. She doesn't join the Force training, more interested in politics and diplomacy, but she watches from a distance, evaluating, judging. She attends the supervised visits, but rarely engages deeply. She's cordial but cold, making it clear she's there out of obligation rather than desire. When she's 15, she's part of a diplomatic mission to Onderon, helping negotiate trade agreements for the new Republic. The mission goes wrong when Imperial remnant forces attack, attempting to kidnap young senators to use as leverage. Leia is captured in the chaos, bound and thrown into a transport headed for an Imperial holdout. When Anakin hears, he doesn't ask permission. He doesn't wait for orders. He knows the Jedi tracking device will alert them that he's breaking the terms of his sentence by leaving without authorization. But he doesn't care. She's his daughter, and she's in danger. He takes his ship and goes after her alone, following the Force bond between them that he's spent years cultivating carefully. He infiltrates the Imperial facility with terrifying efficiency. The soldiers there remember Vader, remember the terror he brought. And when Anakin cuts through them to reach Leia, some of that old ruthlessness returns. Not the dark side, but the cold competence of a man who will let nothing stop him from protecting his child. Bodies fall in his wake. Not all of them dead, but all incapacitated. He finds Leia in a detention cell, bruised but defiant. Even bound and captured, she's arguing with her guards, demanding they release her under New Republic law. When Anakin appears, cutting through the door with his lightsaber, her eyes widen. You, what are you doing here? Saving you. He cuts through her restraints. Can you walk? Yes, but you're going to be in so much trouble for this. The Jedi are going to execute you for breaking your sentence, probably. He checks the corridor, sensing for enemies, but you're worth it. They fight their way out together. Leia stays behind Anakin, letting him handle the combat, but directing their escape route. She's memorized the facility layout during her captivity and guides them toward the hangar. When they're cornered by a group of stormtroopers, Anakin protects her without hesitation, taking hits meant for her, throwing himself in harm's way repeatedly. "Why are you doing this?" Leia asks as they catch their breath behind cover. "You could have waited for the Jedi, for a proper rescue team. Why risk everything? Because you're my daughter." Anakin glances at her, his scarred face sincere. "And you're in danger. Nothing else matters. Not my sentence. Not my restrictions. Not even my life. You matter more than all of that." Something shifts in Leia's expression. She's seen Anakin's sacrifice before in recordings, heard about his heroics, but experiencing it firsthand is different. Seeing him take a blaster bolt to protect her, seeing him risk execution just to save her, it changes her perspective. They finally reach his ship and escape into hyperspace moments before Imperial reinforcements arrive. On the journey back to Naboo, they sit in awkward silence for a long time. Finally, Leia speaks. "Thank you for coming for me, even though it was stupid and reckless and you're probably going to die for it. You're welcome. And I know, but I'd make the same choice again." "Why?" She turns to face him fully. "You barely know me. I've been cold to you for years. I've made it clear I don't consider you my father. So why risk everything? Because you are my daughter, whether you accept me or not. Because I failed you by becoming a monster before you were even born. Because I owe you a galaxy worth living in, and I can't provide that if you're dead or traumatized. And because," his voice catches, "because I love you, Leia. Both you and Luke. I have no right to that love. I haven't earned it, but it exists anyway. And that means I'll protect you with everything I have. Consequences be damned." Leia is quiet for a long moment. Then, almost grudgingly, she says, "That was really brave. What you did back there, stupid but brave." She pauses. "I still can't forgive you for what you did, for killing those Jedi, for nearly destroying the galaxy. That's not something I can just let go of. I don't expect you to, but I can acknowledge that you're trying, that you've changed, that the man who came for me isn't the same person who committed those crimes. And I can be grateful for that. It's not forgiveness, but it's understanding, maybe, or at least the beginning of it." When they return to Naboo, Anakin faces consequences, as expected. The Jedi Council convenes an emergency meeting. Several members call for his immediate execution for violating his sentence, but Leia speaks on his behalf, explaining how he saved her life without hesitation, without darkness, driven purely by love and the need to protect. The testimony is powerful, and the council decides to add more years to his service rather than execution. "Your daughter's testimony has saved your life, Skywalker." Yoda's voice is grave. "But understand this. You must push the boundaries again, and mercy we cannot show. Clear?" Crystal clear, Master. And thank you. Thank me not. Thank your daughter. Saw something in you. She did. Something worth saving. Prove her right. You must. The missions continue. Anakin spends years hunting down the remnants of the Empire, dismantling Sith cults, protecting Force-sensitive children from those who would exploit them. He's deployed to Dathomir to deal with Night Sister covens trying to resurrect Sith magic, to Malachor to seal away ancient Sith temples, to Moraband to destroy Sith artifacts before they can corrupt a new generation. On one mission to Bakura, he encounters former slaves from Tatooine who recognize him. Some remember young Anakin Skywalker, the boy who dreamed of freeing all slaves. Others know him as Vader, the monster who enforced the Empire's brutal rule. The conflict in their recognition mirrors the conflict in Anakin himself. He helps them establish their new colony, using his mechanical skills to build infrastructure, his Force abilities to protect them from threats. When they thank him, he deflects. I don't deserve your thanks. I failed you all when I fell, but I can help you now. That's something. At least, one elderly Twi'lek woman approaches him. I knew your mother, she says. Shmai Skywalker. She was kind, gentle. She would be proud of what you're trying to do now, even if she'd be horrified by what you did before. The words break something in Anakin. He hasn't allowed himself to think about his mother in years, too consumed by guilt. I don't think she would be proud. I think she'd be ashamed. I became everything she feared, everything she tried to protect me from. Maybe. But she also taught you to never give up, to keep fighting for what's right, even when it seems hopeless. You're doing that now. That has to count for something. The years pass, and Anakin grows older. His hair turns gray, his scars deepen. The damage from Palpatine's lightning never fully heals, leaving him with chronic pain and reduced mobility. But he keeps working, keeps fighting, keeps trying. He tracks down the last of the Inquisitors on Nur, the fortress where they trained. He helps dismantle Imperial weapons facilities on Scarif. He rescues Force-sensitive children from traffickers on Kessel. Luke completes his Jedi training at 21, becoming a full Jedi Knight in a ceremony that Anakin is allowed to attend but not participate in. It's bittersweet watching his son achieve what he himself lost. But there's also pride there, genuine happiness, that Luke has become the Jedi Anakin could have been. When Luke receives his knighthood, he specifically requests Anakin's presence, a silent acknowledgement of the role his father played in his development. Thank you, Luke says afterward, when they have a moment alone, for teaching me about the dark side, for showing me the mistakes to avoid, for being honest about your failures. I know it couldn't have been easy. It wasn't, but it was necessary. You needed to learn from someone who's actually fallen and returned. Theory only goes so far. Anakin hesitates, then adds, I'm proud of you, Luke. You've become everything I should have been. Everything I could have been if I'd made better choices. You're still making better choices now. That's what matters. Luke goes on to establish a new Jedi Academy, one built on the Reformed Order's principles. He teaches younglings about balance, about healthy attachment, about managing fear and emotion, and he brings Anakin in occasionally to teach about the dark side. Always supervised, always monitored, but present. The younglings are fascinated and horrified by him in equal measure, but they listen. They learn, and Anakin's pain becomes their protection. Leia follows a different path, becoming a prominent senator in the New Republic. She's a fierce advocate for justice and reform, fighting against corruption and the remnants of imperial thinking. She doesn't use the Force in her work, preferring diplomacy and law. But her connection to it gives her insight, lets her sense deception and truth in ways that make her formidable. She marries a Corellian pilot named Han Solo, and Anakin attends the wedding as a distant observer, not walking her down the aisle, but present. When Leia has children of her own, she faces the question of whether to let Anakin meet them. Her husband is skeptical, uncomfortable with his wife's father's history. But Leia surprises everyone by saying yes. Her children should know their grandfather. All of him. The good, the bad, the terrible. They should learn from him the way she's learning. The first time Anakin holds his grandson Ben, he weeps. The boy is strong in the Force, his potential clear even as an infant. "I don't deserve this," Anakin whispers. "I don't deserve to hold him, to know him, probably not." Leia's voice is frank but not cruel. But he deserves to know where he comes from, the good and the bad. And maybe by knowing you, by understanding what you did and how you're trying to make amends, he'll be stronger, wiser, better equipped to make his own choices. The years continue to pass. Anakin is deployed on a mission to the unknown regions, tracking rumors of a Sith artifact on an uncharted world. He's accompanied by a small team of Jedi, but they're ambushed by a cult of dark side worshippers who've been guarding the artifact for generations. The battle is brutal, and Anakin's team is overwhelmed. The artifact itself is more dangerous than anyone realized. It's not just a Sith weapon, but a tear in the Force itself. A wound that threatens to spread and consume everything around it. To close it requires someone to contain it with the Force, while the structure collapses around them, sealing the rift forever. It's a suicide mission, and everyone knows it. Anakin doesn't hesitate. He orders his team to evacuate and begins the containment process. The Force flows through him as he works, light and dark, swirling together as he uses everything he's learned, everything he is, to hold the rift closed. The pain is excruciating, worse than Palpatine's lightning, worse than anything he's experienced. But he holds on. He contacts Obi-Wan through his comm, knowing these might be his last words. "Master, it's bad. I can't get out of this one. The artifact is destabilizing. If I don't contain it, it'll tear open a rift that could swallow this whole sector. Thousands of systems, millions of lives, Anakin." "No." Obi-Wan's voice cracks over the comm. "We can send reinforcements. We can find another way. You don't have to do this. There's no time. And even if there was, this is my choice, my decision. For once in my life, I'm choosing right." He can feel the temple beginning to collapse around him, the structure failing. After everything, after all I've done to try to redeem myself, am I going to finally succeed? Am I going to die as a Jedi? Obi-Wan is quiet for a moment. Then his voice comes through, thick with emotion. "You've been a Jedi for years now, Anakin. Maybe not in title, but in spirit. You've made mistakes, terrible, unforgivable mistakes. But you never stopped trying to be better. That's what it means to be a Jedi. Not perfection, just constantly striving toward the light. Thank you for never giving up on me, for believing I could come back, for training Luke, for everything, Master. I'm sorry for everything I put you through. I know. And Anakin, the Force will be with you, always. The temple begins to collapse fully. Anakin pours everything he has into containing the artifact, into stopping the darkness from escaping. He feels his body breaking, his strength fading, but he holds on. In his last moments, he sees them all. Padme, beautiful and strong. Luke, compassionate and brave. Leia, fierce and just. Obi-Wan, disappointed but still believing. Ahsoka, wounded but watching. All the people he hurt and all the people he helped. The Force surrounds him, warm and welcoming. For the first time in decades, Anakin feels truly at peace. He's let go of his fear. He's accepted his fate. He's saved people one last time, not to earn redemption, but because it's the right thing to do. The temple collapses completely, sealing the rift forever. The comm goes silent. The Jedi recover Anakin's body 3 days later. When the area is stable enough to excavate, the artifact is contained, the rift sealed. The sector is saved. Thousands of systems continue to exist because one man chose to sacrifice himself. When they bring his body back, it's clear he died in unimaginable pain. But his expression is peaceful, almost serene. He found his answer in the end. He died as a Jedi, not in title, but in truth. The funeral is attended by hundreds. Jedi from across the galaxy come to pay their respects. Senators from the New Republic attend, acknowledging his service, and citizens from worlds he saved come to say goodbye. There are also protesters, people holding signs condemning him, families of those he killed who can never forgive. Anakin would have wanted them there too. He would have acknowledged their right to hate him. Luke gives the eulogy, standing before a gathering that spans multiple viewpoints and emotions. My father was not a good man. The words are blunt, honest. He did terrible things that can never be forgiven or forgotten. He murdered innocents. He betrayed everyone who trusted him. He nearly destroyed the galaxy in his fall to the dark side. If his story ended there, he would deserve nothing but condemnation. But it didn't end there. He made a choice. When he saw what he'd become, when the darkness lifted just enough for him to see clearly, he chose to stop. He chose to return to the light. And then he spent the rest of his life trying to make amends for what he'd done. Not because he thought it would earn him forgiveness. He knew it wouldn't. But because it was the right thing to do. He taught me that our mistakes don't define us. Our responses to them do. That you're never too far gone to turn back. That redemption isn't about erasing the past, but about building a better future. He showed me, through decades of painful work, what it means to keep trying even when you know you can never fully succeed. Even when you know the people around you will never fully forgive you. My father died saving thousands of systems, millions of lives. People who will never know his name, never know what he sacrificed. He didn't do it for recognition. He did it because people needed saving, and he was there, and he could help. That's what a Jedi does. That's what he finally became again. Not a master, not a knight, just a man trying to serve the light. Will he be forgiven? Luke looks out at the crowd, at the mix of mourners and protesters. I don't know. I can't forgive him on behalf of those he hurt. But I can acknowledge that he tried, that he changed, that he spent his life paying for his crimes in the only way he could, by helping others, by preventing the darkness from spreading, by teaching new generations to avoid his mistakes. Obi-Wan speaks next, his voice heavy with years and grief. Anakin Skywalker was my brother, my student, and my greatest failure. I couldn't save him from falling, and that weight will haunt me until I join the Force. But in the end, he saved himself. He chose the light when it mattered most. He spent decades proving that choice was genuine. The galaxy won't remember him kindly, and perhaps it shouldn't. The crimes he committed demand that. But those of us who knew him, who saw him struggle and fight and try, will remember the man he tried to become, not the monster he was, not the hero he could have been, just the man he actually became. Flawed, scarred, but trying. Leia is last to speak. She struggles for words, emotions warring on her face. I hated my father for most of my life. She's brutally honest. I hated what he did, who he became, the legacy he left. I wanted nothing to do with him, wanted to pretend he didn't exist. But he never let me forget. He was always there, trying, always working to be better, always risking everything to protect me when I needed it. I don't know if that's forgiveness, but it's acknowledgement. He tried. In a galaxy that rarely gives second chances, he took his and did everything he could with it. My children will grow up knowing their grandfather's story. All of it. The fall and the return. The crimes and the atonement. The monster and the man. Because that's what he was. Complex. Contradictory. Irredeemably flawed. But constantly trying to improve. And maybe that's the most human thing about him. He wasn't a legend. He wasn't a myth. He was a person who made terrible mistakes and then spent his life trying to fix them. That has to mean something. They bury Anakin on Naboo, not among the Jedi, but in a small plot near where he married Padme. The funeral is simple. His gravestone reads, Anakin Skywalker, Jedi, father, flawed, forever trying. His white lightsaber is placed in the Jedi archives on Coruscant, displayed alongside a comprehensive record of his fall and return. Younglings study both sides of his story, learning from his mistakes and his attempts at redemption. In the years that follow, Anakin's legacy remains complicated. He's never forgiven by everyone. Many families of those he killed will hate him until they die, and they pass that hatred to their children. They're not wrong to do so, but others acknowledge his return, his sacrifice, his decades of service. Historians debate his place in galactic history. Was he a villain who became a hero? A hero who became a villain but returned? Both? Neither? Luke ensures that the full truth is preserved. He creates a comprehensive archive of Anakin's life. His childhood as a slave, his training as a Jedi, his fall to the dark side, and his long, painful return. Nothing is hidden or sanitized. The atrocities are documented in full detail. But so is the atonement. Future generations can see all of it and make their own judgments. The Jedi Order continues to use Anakin as a teaching example, but they use his entire story, not just his fall. They teach younglings about the dangers of fear and attachment, yes, but they also teach about redemption, about the possibility of change, about how even the darkest can return to light if they choose. They teach that mistakes don't define you forever, that you always have a choice, that the path back is long and hard, but possible. Padme lives another 20 years, watching her children grow and lead. She never remarries, never fully moves on from Anakin. Their relationship remains the central tragedy of her life, the what could have been that haunts her dreams. But she also finds peace in knowing he tried, that he spent his life making amends, that he died a Jedi. It's not the ending she wanted, but it's better than the alternative. When she's very old, near the end of her life, she visits Anakin's grave one final time. She sits beside it, her joints aching, her body failing. She talks to him as if he can hear her. And maybe, through the Force, he can. I never forgave you. She speaks to the gravestone, her voice thin but clear. I want you to know that. I never forgave you for what you did, for the younglings, for the Jedi, for nearly destroying everything good in the galaxy. That's not something I could forgive, not something anyone could forgive. She's quiet for a moment, placing a hand on the cool stone. But I acknowledged your efforts. I saw you trying. I watched you spend decades working to make amends, knowing you never could. That took courage, more courage than falling did. And for that, I'm grateful. Our children grew up knowing their father wasn't a monster. Flawed, yes. Guilty of terrible crimes, absolutely. But not a monster. Just a man who made catastrophic mistakes and spent his life trying to fix them. She looks up at the sky, at the stars beginning to appear in the twilight. I hope you found peace, Anakin. I hope the Force welcomed you despite everything. And I hope, wherever you are, you know that you succeeded in one thing at least. You raised good children. Luke and Leia are better than either of us. They learned from your mistakes without repeating them. They're strong and compassionate and just. They're what we should have been. That's your legacy. Not the fall. Not the atrocity. Them. Padme dies peacefully 3 months later, surrounded by her children and grandchildren. She's buried beside Anakin, not because she forgave him, but because their story, tragic and complicated as it is, deserves to be told in full. Their twin graves become a memorial, a reminder that even the strongest love can be corrupted by fear, but that it's possible to find your way back if you're willing to pay the price. Years pass, decades, generations. The galaxy slowly heals from the scars of the Empire. The Jedi Order grows stronger, wiser, more balanced. Luke's students spread across the galaxy, teaching a new understanding of the Force, one that acknowledges emotion and attachment, but teaches balance, one that remembers Anakin Skywalker as both a warning and a hope. In the Jedi archives, students still study his white lightsaber and the records of his life. Some see only the monster, unable to look past the atrocities. Others see only the redemption, focusing on his return and service. But the wisest see both. They understand that Anakin Skywalker was a man, complex and flawed, capable of both great evil and great good, that he made catastrophic choices, but also made the choice to return, that he could never fully redeem himself but never stop trying. And in the Force itself, where the boundaries between life and death blur, Anakin watches, not as a Force ghost, for he was never granted that peace, but as an echo, a memory, forever intertwined with the light and dark. He watches Luke train new generations. He watches Leia fight for justice. He watches his grandchildren grow and face their own challenges. He watches the galaxy he almost destroyed continue to turn, continue to live, continue to hope. He can never undo what he did. The younglings will never return. The Jedi he killed will never live again. The families he destroyed will never be made whole. But the galaxy continues. People continue to fight for good despite the darkness. The Jedi continue to serve despite their failures. And that has to mean something. It has to count for something. Redemption isn't a destination. It's a path. Anakin Skywalker walked that path until his last breath. Never forgiven by all, never fully redeemed, but never stopping trying. He paid for his crimes not through death or imprisonment, but through life, through decades of service, through constant struggle, through never allowing himself to forget or be forgiven. And in the end, maybe that's the truest form of redemption possible. Not erasing the past, but refusing to let it define the future. Not being forgiven, but being better. Not being the hero, but being human. Forever flawed. Forever trying. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.